Guys, I'm back. How are you all doing? I hope you all have been well. I'm Momin and I'm here to do another video today. Excuse my bad hair today because I shampooed when I showered and in the morning, and when you shampoo, sometimes it just like blows up like that, and today it's just like, I don't know, all over the place. I'll try to keep it I don't know, presentable for this video, but it's just not. See, I don't know, I don't know what's up with this, so I think this is fine. you know Real life happens. This is us. This is how I look like on the daily, very often, so just keeping it real. Anyway, so if before I move on, please subscribe to our channel if you like our videos. If you have any suggestions for topics you want to see covered on the channel, just drop them in the comments. Or if you are in touch with Nick, or if you know me from like the Facebook group or anywhere else, just message me and we'll try to get those topics done for you. And and leave comments on this video, like this video, and let us know what you think about it. Let us know what if this helped you in any way, or if you want any more pointers or explanations. Sorry, I'll stop touching my hair. This is literally the last time I'm doing it. Okay, I think now it's fine. Let's get on with this video. Wow, I'm so self-obsessed. I'm not. So what I want to talk about is how OCD affects your relationships of the people you live with. And I went through contamination OCD, so that's the main theme I want to talk about, of how you suffering from contamination OCD can like affect the relationship with your either spouse or your children or your siblings or parents, whoever you live with. Basically, any person or people you share a space with, your relationship starts to get affected because of that. And I think with contamination OCD, it's a bit different compared to other themes because, for example, if you suffer from POCD, let's say, you and if it's in the context of your children, so you might feel uncomfortable being around your children, but if your spouse is with your children, you won't feel like your intrusive thoughts or urges or any of those things are being transferred to your partner. So you feel okay with your children spending time with them. So your worry remains just within you, within yourself. Same with like harm OCD or even health OCD. You feel, that, or you think that you're, for the most part, obviously OCD can like adapt in various different ways, but for the most part, largely speaking, these themes are like, I think, they stay or remain within you, within your head. But with contamination OCD, you see your fears spreading everywhere. You see your fears being like embodied by people around you or their actions and stuff like that, and you start to, and it becomes very debilitating because the minute that you wake up, your entire day is just a series of you just calculating risks. You just calculating the risks that will come about your day and how you want to avoid those risks and avoid danger, and what strategies can you use to, keep yourself safe and keep your family safe and all those things. So, and you also start to, I think one of the main elements or one of the main features of living or sharing a space with other people while suffering from contamination OCD is that you start to view them as villains. You start to view them as people who are actively making your life miserable because they are not doing things according to how you like them to be. So that's, I think, one of the main features that also starts to like really drive you crazy. And it just like, I don't mean crazy in the sense, like crazy, inverted commas. It just starts to make you feel like you are absolutely just losing it, and you're on edge constantly. You're looking out for like who's doing what so that you can remain alert and, like I said, curb that whatever risk or danger is coming your way. So there are several points I want to, I thought I would divide this video into points because it becomes easier to, just follow whatever content is in the video. So number one is what I just talked about. They are not culprits. They're not intentionally trying to harm you. They're not out there to like make your life miserable or ruin your life. They're yeah, because it's very easy to get into that cycle of blaming them, of thinking that they are deliberately doing this to me. They know I hate this, and yet they are doing this. They're just horrible people, and you build this entire narrative of like really hating them and being angry and frustrated and bitter towards them because you feel like you see them as the antagonists of your story. You are the hero and they're the villain. You're trying to save everyone and they're the ones who are trying to just ruin everybody. So that lens and that perspective is really not helpful because you will hold so much negative emotions towards them. They're not culprits. They really are not. They're just trying to live their life. That's all. That's all they're doing. Number two is that they're not disrespecting you. They're not like ignoring you. They're not saying that, and because they're not following your orders or whatever, they're not negating you or your opinion or any of those things. Like I said, they're just trying to live their life. That's all. You will view this as that they don't understand me. They're not listening to me. Nobody listens to me. Nobody understands me. I feel so alone. Like, yes, OCD is an experience that when you're going through it, you do feel alone through that experience. That is granted. But I also feel like that narrative of loneliness to some degree is also perpetuated by us ourselves. We are the ones who, carry forward that narrative, and we are the ones who build that entire story around ourselves and make ourselves feel even lonelier than we should be feeling. I mean, we don't have to feel that lonely, but somehow we do, because we are, just seeing it as an us versus them thing, that I am on this side and they're on that side kind of thing. So no, they're not trying to disrespect you. They're not trying to like bully you or any of those things. They're just trying to live life the way that they want to. And I mean, aren't we all trying to do that? Number three is that you also have to see them as a separate human being who have their own habits. They have their own behaviors. They have their own brain and neural pathways and all those things. Just like you, they are a completely separate human being. Even if they are your sibling, even if they are your parents and you share genes with them, even among siblings, people are so vastly different from each other. They have such different habits and the way they live their lives and opinions and perspectives and passions and all those things. So it doesn't, I mean, just because you share genes doesn't guarantee that they are more inclined to, yes, they are inclined to be more like you, but what I'm trying to say is that just because you share genes doesn't mean that they have to be inclined that way, or they have to follow things the way you do them. Everyone has their own conditioning. Everyone has their own perspectives of what it is to live life. And in contamination OCD, I think a major element is also everyone has a different idea of hygiene and cleanliness, or what things pose a threat to our life and what things do not pose a threat to our life. What is the extent of safety that we need to follow, all those things. Like I think especially with COVID, I'm sure people with OCD especially, in fact, even people with not with OCD, like generally, I think all humans around the world have like various opinions about it, of how you can not get coronavirus. So especially with I think people with OCD, it was a completely different ball game. So everyone has different opinions on that. So you cannot you can certainly influence a little bit to some degree someone's perspective and opinion of what is clean and what is not clean, what is safe, what is not safe. But for the most part, you cannot make them be clean or safe the way you want them to be. Even like I think with me, for example, it wasn't about like disease or illness. Like I've talked about this several times. Even with my kind of contamination, which is kind of like contamination by association, the same rules apply. Number four, you can also look at it from their perspective. They are people who do not have OCD, so they don't know exactly where you're coming from. No matter how much you try to explain it to them, they will not understand why you are, washing your hands 50 times, or why you have to clean the bed sheets just because something that you shopped for was on your bed, or why do you have to spend like 5 hours of the day just keeping wiping everything with like an alcohol wipe or something like that, whatever your compulsions are. They don't understand that perspective. They don't have that brain. They don't have that kind of wiring. So they will not be able to see it no matter how much you try to explain it to them. Unless they are someone who have a very like deep, good understanding of OCD. Or anxiety disorders, which I mean, sometimes people you live with, sometimes they do, but sometimes they, in most cases, in fact, I would say, like they perhaps don't. So, and right now, like you are making room only for your perspective or your way of life in the house. That's what you're trying to impose. And what happens there is that people around you, they start to feel monitored and observed and controlled. And that's something that nobody ever likes. Nobody ever likes to be controlled or like constantly told what to do, and feel like you are under a microscope. Your every single move is being analyzed and questioned, and you're being doubted, because like that makes you feel like that would make any human feel like they will never be good enough. Whatever they do will never be good enough for you. And if they, for example, they end up lashing out on you, or they get angry at you, or you end up in some kind of argument because you were trying to impose your way on them, it's not coming from a place of just not respecting you or any of those things what I talked about. It's just coming from a place of like deeply also being kind of almost hurt, and also building this kind of insecurity over time, because whatever they do and no matter how many times they do it, it will never be good enough for someone, for you suffering from OCD, because OCD is a perpetual problem. No amount of certainty or reassurance will put your fears to bay, or like put your doubts to ease, or any of those things. So keep that perspective in mind, because I mean they don't know how to help you. They don't know how to be around you anymore, and they don't know what is it that they can do to make life better or easier for you. I mean, you cannot expect someone to every single day follow a list of 100 rules, because with OCD there are a list of at least 100 rules. So they cannot follow all those rules for you every single day, because not only are you sucking the joy out of your own life, obviously, I mean, that's not your intention. I'm not like blaming you for that, because I mean, we're suffering from a disorder. But when you end up in like perpetuating the compulsion cycle, and when you are deep in it, what we are in another, if you look at it from another angle, you are sucking the joy out of your own life, because you are so rigid about your beliefs and perspectives and behaviors that you're holding, that it just it really starts making you feel unhappy or emotionally numb. So not only are you doing that to yourself, but you're also doing that to another person. You are just sucking the joy out of their life at home. And I mean, just talking right now, I'm just thinking, like, for example, if you have a spouse and they come home from work, and when you come home from work, that's when you start to unwind and just, relax and start to rest up and all those things. You come home from work and you cannot unwind, because now you have to follow another list of 100 rules and regulations around the house. So, number 5 that I want to talk about is that, sadly, everything that I just talked about, all of this collectively does end up taking a toll on relationships at times. It really does come in between two people, because it's such a big thing, and it's such like a driving force between what is allowed and what's not allowed in your house, that it can really start to take a toll on your relationship. And especially, like I said, if you are trying to completely control the other person. I did a separate video on fear of losing control. If you scroll down a little, you'll come across it. I think it was a good video, so do check that out and let me know if that like helps you, because this really goes hand in hand with that topic goes hand in hand with this topic. But yeah, it ends up really just affecting your relationship, because the other person starts to feel so unhappy around you at times, and because they don't know what else to do. They've tried everything, they've followed all the rules, they try to follow all the rules sometimes as well, and it's just never really good enough. And this fact maybe is something that you can use to your benefit. Like, you can use that as motivation to start working on recovery as of right now. Like, you can start putting that effort into like working on OCD right now, if you don't want it to like continue to affect your relationship or start affecting your relationship at some point. So and like, I'm not scaring you. I'm not saying that, oh my God, if you don't do this, your relationships are going to be dead. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, and that does not happen in every case. But I mean, if that is something you see that is happening with you and the people you live with, or you think that it will start to happen, this honestly, it can be really good motivation. I saw that as good motivation for myself, because I had stopped spending time with my family. I had stopped sitting with them in the lounge. I had stopped like wanting to go out to family gatherings, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I was doing massive avoidance. It really started to. I mean, people just started to see me as reclusive. They didn't see me as someone who. They didn't like blame me or like see me as some kind of like rude person or anything. But I'm someone who values my relationships with my relatives, with my family, with my friends, all these people, and I like to like spend time with people and talk to them and hang out with them and do all sorts of activities together. So in myself, I started to feel like, oh my God, I'm letting this like perpetual fear and anxiety just drive my entire life and control my entire life. I'm not making any decisions for myself. My anxieties are and my fears are making decisions for me. So that was one of my motivations to really start to work on exposures and like other recovery areas to just improve the health and quality of my relationships that I could clearly see was like going downhill. And like I was having this like big gap between like people I in my life who are important to me, and I didn't want that to happen. So embracing uncertainty. Sorry, I was just looking at my notes. Embracing uncertainty is absolutely crucial over here. I mean, embracing uncertainty is like a really important ingredient in recovery. Over here, it's important in the context of you trying to constantly ask questions from your from the people you live with. Did you wash your hands after you used the toilet? Did you pee while standing or sitting? Or did you sanitize your hands after you came from the shop? Did you sanitize the things you bought? Did you wash that sweater before you wore it? You begin to like really question and figure things out and solve this puzzle and get everything in order in your head that, oh, nothing is going to go wrong and nothing is going to be bad and everything is going to be fine. So that ends up as being, number one, obviously reassurance, which needs to be cut out. And secondly, like you are just absolutely chasing certainty over there, which we know is really not like a good thing for OCD. Like it just perpetuates the cycle. It in fact reinforces your fears and your anxieties and irrational beliefs of what should be there and what should not be there. So yeah, do not. I mean, I when I was working on recovery, I remember there were certain moments where if someone was handing something to me, I knew I shouldn't ask them about, oh, where has this come from, or like who else touched it or something like that. But I mean, right before, at times I would be able to not ask that and just, accept what I was being given. But there were times when I knew I shouldn't, but I would still be like, okay, where did this come from? Like, who sent this? Like, who brought this home? I would try to know the whereabouts of that object so that I would know whether I was safe or not safe. So it's absolutely difficult to not ask those questions. It's absolutely extremely it's like you're choking yourself by not asking that question, but really don't. Honestly, just take that leap of faith. It's crucial over here. Number 7 is like the threat will, just like with all other themes, the threat will feel as real as possible. You are not the OCD sufferer exception over here. Every OCD sufferer feels that way, that the threat is absolutely real. And with contamination, I think for instance, if you have like any concerns about health or disease, or like eating something rotten or poisonous, or you think that fecal matter or pee drops will somehow, those substances will travel to your bedroom from the bathroom. Any of those things, those feel as real threats because, I mean, obviously nobody likes feces on the bed, or like pee on the bed, or I don't know, blood on the counter or something like that. Obviously nobody likes that. So for you it makes complete logical sense that, nobody likes it. I mean, who would like blood on their clothes, or who would want to touch a bloody needle or something like that? But like, sure, I mean, I agree with that. But do you see other people around you going about their daily lives just absolutely chronically stuck in their head, thinking that, oh my god, like when I came out of the bathroom, I washed my hands once, but I think the soap did not touch this part of my finger, so there must be feces over here, and oh my god, I just ate lunch with these hands and I am dying. No, I mean, so the regular person, and again, I think we can, I mean, it doesn't convince you instantly, but we can certainly use people around us, people who we see, and friends, family, all these people. We can see their example and learn from them that they are not. I mean, yes, these are things. These are like logical, rational human concerns that nobody likes, for the most part, from what we all know. But like, no, if you had to be. If that warranted chronic anxiety all day long, this calculation of risk and danger and safety all day long, like the entire world would be just on edge and nobody would be enjoying life at all at any point. So your protection mechanisms in your brain are in overdrive right now. Yes, they are trying to keep you safe, but they are in overdrive, and like they are kind of in hyper mode right now. So, and that's where you have to start to work to bring those down. Number 8 is when you see yourself, like if you like when I say that you're calculating risks all day long, what that does is it ends up making you at times. I mean, it might make you, I would say. In my case, it did. It started to make me emotionally numb. It started to make me quite unhappy. I was dead tired and exhausted all day from doing compulsions and trying to, always avoid danger, because I mean, you're so on edge all the time. And I'm sure if you've been suffering from contamination OCD for a few years, especially, I'm sure that's how it would be for you as well. It's likely that it would be for you as well. So really just, I mean, because when you're so deep in it, you think that you are doing the right thing by keeping yourself safe and your family safe and keeping away from danger. It feels so right but also so wrong. Like a toxic relationship. Just kidding. So obviously you don't see it that way immediately, but try to take a step back from yourself. Try to step outside of yourself for a minute and look at yourself from like an outside perspective. Try to imagine that you are looking in at yourself from your window. Are you really living life right now? And I know part of it you cannot help right now. Part of it feels so automatic, and part of it is so at this point like you have ingrained those habits of compulsions and all those things in you so much that right now it's hard to break away. But are you really living life right now? Are you really living life the way you think you want to? Is this the life that you want to be living till the end of your life? I mean, on your deathbed one day, if you imagine yourself on your deathbed, and do you think that you would be, this is the thing that you would be most proud of, that you know what, I did 100 compulsions all day long, my life was great? No, I mean, that's not something you would be proud of. The thing that you would be thinking about and reflecting on and cherishing the most is the happy moments you had and the relationships you had and the achievements that you were able to have and all the things that you cherish the most about life. Not the amount of compulsions or like cleanliness rituals and all those things that you did, and how you affected your how your behaviors ended up affecting your relationships and all those things. You won't think, you know what, I stood my ground, I am a strong person, I stood up for myself. If I put myself in those shoes, I would imagine I would feel at that point I would feel regretful that, you know what, I mean, I spent my life just not being happy, or not like at least trying to carve out like a healthy, happy life that I lived on my own terms. So yeah, I just went into reflective mode over there. So yeah, not trying to make you like sad over here right now, just like trying to put things in perspective a little bit. So yeah, those are the main points I wanted to cover, and how contamination OCD can really start to affect your relationships, and take a toll on your relationships and like generally any kind of like people you share your living space with. Cutting out compulsions is absolutely key over here. And cutting out compulsions then essentially becomes an exposure in itself as well, but also like actively doing exposures yourself as well. Not giving into cleaning urges, not trying to ask questions, cutting out reassurance, not trying to control other people's behavior. Use that as opportunities and situations for exposure as well. Go along with uncertainty, bring that discomfort for the ride, and initially it will feel like a living hell. It can feel like a living hell at times. You might feel like you are just imploding, or things are about to just fall apart and your life is just getting out of control. But that's because you have built those like mechanisms in your brain to feel safe and in control. So when something happens that is the complete opposite of what you have trained your brain to believe, obviously all sorts of like what do you call it, like nerve endings will wake up and start to like pass on those electric impulses, and everything will start to feel like ugh. But initially it will be difficult, but it gets easier, it gets better, it gets easier. And just take that leap of faith. Trust me, it's worth the effort. I know where you were. I have been there, absolutely, completely stuck in that quicksand, always feeling like I'm drowning and nothing is going to ever be right, and life is just going to be miserable from here on out. Nothing will make sense. But you can get there. It is possible. So yeah, just wanted to touch on those points, and sorry for my hair. I don't know, I mean, it's just I tried to, before this video I tried to like comb it and just try to set it in one place and stuff. I did all things, but it didn't work. But like I said, just trying to keep it real. I still want to make this video. I had the time to make this video, so I just came and did it. So see you on the next one. I hope you like this one. Bye bye. It's not stopping. Wait.